Well, it's not really Friday. I mean, I guess it probably is in Dubai or something. Okay. Let's see. I think we got all of it. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You say Friday. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, some people they're thinking ahead. They're looking at tomorrow. they're thinking in the future. We like that. Forward thinking. Okay, hello. So here's what we'll do. We got some good news. No, you will eventually be right. It will be Friday at some point. Maybe. All right. So let me get that old banner off the screen. Some interesting Celsius news. Boy, you can't write this crap. These dudes are such arrogant jerkwad douchebags. Like, what are they thinking? Man, these guys, they're all going to wear orange. That whole group. We were on a chat. We were in a clubhouse room. It was me and a buddy of mine, Alex, who's a crypto consultant. I don't know if Jerry was there, Jerry Hall, but there was a few of us there. Anyway, we were in a clubhouse. Remember when Clubhouse was a thing? Now it's completely disintegrated into dumpster fire. But I mean, it was always a dumpster fire, but it was something fun to do during COVID. Anyway, so we were talking to one of Mashinsky's engineers, and Mashinsky was there, and we were asking them to explain to us how they return 10%, 10 to 12% return, like all the time. We're like, but how do you get that? Where does that come from? And we had this long drawn out argument where finally they admitted they were lending so that hedge funds and stuff could short Bitcoin and other assets. I was like, so you're taking investor money and lending it. And they're like, well, no, it's safe. I'm like, well, how's it safe if you're giving it to these degens? And how are you making, and again, how do you make 10% exactly? They could never explain it. And I think that we were like, you guys are going to all end up in jail. And Alex is like, what did he say? He goes, I have 200 millions of my own monies on the 200 millions of my own dollars on the project. Why do you think I would pull scam? I was like, well, there you go. It was so obvious. Same thing with Sam Bankman Fried Chicken. Same thing with Luna and Do Kwon. I think eventually guys like Novogratz and Raoul Pal and all those other scammy douchebags. They're all scammy douchebags. Like it's so obvious. Listen to them talk and Big D it for 15 seconds and you know that these guys are creeps. None of this should surprise anyone. Kyle Davies and the other douchebag over at Three Arrows. Who would lend them five pennies, much less 5 billion, 15, 30 billion? If you lend degens money, it's gone. Like, of course they're pulling scams. They're all douchebags. Like, people get fleeced. I don't know what it is, man. I rarely get screwed over. I mean, I guess maybe because I assume that most people are trying to pull a scam. Guess what? Most people are trying to pull a scam. They're trying to steal all of your stuff. Like, man, just wake up. All right. Yeah, and the whole karma thing is like, if you do bad stuff to people, at some point, you're just going to build up a bunch of people that want you to go down. And that's going to, I don't know if that's karma or just being a dick. If you're just a career dick, they're going to step on you at some point. It's not always the case, but it's like mostly the case. All right. So we got some cool AI news. Of course, we got some cool Celsius news. I'll go through that. And we're going to do an exercise experiment. I was going to do an AGIX exercise, like an exit experiment, but that one's already started. but actually so has NewNet. And NewNet, I think, is going to be one that continues to run. So we're going to get to play with that for a little bit. Yeah, of course we're going to talk Elon Musk. We do our AI news, do we not? We do. And again, most of this stuff we go over in more detail in the digital heavyweights and some of the other stuff. But yeah. And if you want to, you see the little like Nick Black next, if you want to keep up with what we're doing, because we do technical stuff too that's not directly like crypto investment related. Brandon and I do, and he specifically does a lot of technical talks and things like this. So anyway, tune in. Okay, let's get to AI news because that's always super fun. And let's stay looped in. I think I have a new. Remember I was telling you I was like looking for like an AI news thing that I thought was cool. I think I found one. I think I did. Let's see. So we let's see if I get this right. How badass is that? Okay, and I'll tell you what. Let's do our little brain thing. We like the brain. We like blowing the brain out. Woo! Okay, what's going on in AI news? Shopify unveils a new AI sidekick. Elon Musk reveals XAI. I'll show you all. After his like demeasuring contest, well, he's melted Twitter down to just nothing. So this should be interesting. Listen, he's not a dummy. He's just not super good with money. Like he's bankrupted a lot of companies. And I'm not going to be one of these people that's like, Elon's an idiot. He's not an idiot. He's incredibly intelligent. He's sharp. He just doesn't. It's hard to be good at everything. It's hard to be good at being an intellectual, being an engineer, and like understanding finance. And he's that third part. He's not nailed that third part so much. All right. So let's talk about Shopify. Shopify unveils its AI sidekick. Say, what the hell is that? Well, I mean, there's going to be AI bots, AI sidekicks, AI assistants, helper bots, whatever you want to call it, chat bots that are going to get a lot smarter. Anyway, the CEO of Shopify just revealed Shopify AI's vision and new commerce-specific AI digital assistant called Sidekick. And it's not super exciting. Like they should have done like Sidekick, SAIDEKICK, like Sidekick. Maybe that's me. Maybe they workshopped it. And maybe ChatGPT told them that was stupid. Anyway, what are the kind of the main points? It enhances productivity and optimizes workflows. For anybody that's selling stuff through Shopify, or if you're selling stuff in general, you probably have a Shopify store. So this may appeal to you. Anyway, it facilitates more time for business growth rather than operational tasks because it does a lot of the little like detail-y garbage that kind of slows you down. It understands and interprets questions or prompts so that users can generate new ideas in just a few seconds, which is cool. It asks clarifying questions, or you can prompt Sidekick to shorten, rewrite, give feedback, which is kind of cool, especially as you're setting up your store, because they want to make this just a faster, more seamless process. The CEO believes that people building businesses have the most to gain from AI technology. True, in that interim where humans leveraging AI will still be a part of the economy. And I don't know how long that like humans that don't leverage AI are getting pushed out in the obsolescence phase. And then we're in like AI, AGI, digital superintelligence. But until we get there, it's going to be murky. And as the Japanese say, the fish shall prosper where the water is murky. So, yeah. So don't let it get too murky or your ass gets booked like Mashinsky. Anyway, they have no official release date, so they're beta testing it. And, if you're selling stuff and you're on Shopify, it makes sense to AI power your back end. So there you go. Okay. Elon Musk. Dun, dun, dun. And I think I even have, I had an article somewhere. But anyway, I'll just give you the bullets. He reveals his new company called XAI. And their like slogan is like, understand the true nature of the universe. Holy smokes. because we couldn't have done it until just now. Thanks, Elon. We were all so stupid. We're all just bumbling around in the darkness, headbutting each other like damn fools. Luckily, Elon's going to save the day with XAI. He announced the creation of this new AI company, XAI, to understand the true nature of the universe, because we're all simpleton fools, and without him, we wouldn't have a chance. The team, so he basically plucked people maybe that weren't happy. Now, some of that is there may be some people that were big thinkers that felt like they were bottled up. They weren't being their true talents weren't being utilized. Mostly when you have big successful teams and people burn off on the sides, like you have employees that exit, sometimes they're troublemakers. So we'll see. We'll see how much he was plucking and how much it was like detritus. But anyway, the team, so he basically plucked people from DeepMind, OpenAI, Google Research, Microsoft Research, which, whatever, Tesla, of course, and the University of Toronto. So anyway, it's this group is advised by Dan Hendricks, who served as the director of the Center for AI Safety. Public good, they say. Anyway, XAI is a separate company from X Corp, but will work closely with X, which used to be Twitter. Now it's called X because Elon. It's gonna work closely with Tesla and other companies to make progress towards their mission of teaching us all the things about the universe that we could never possibly understand. You can meet their team and ask questions on Twitter Spaces, although I don't know why they just don't call it X Spaces. But anyway, they're doing a chat tomorrow. If you go to @XAI, you'll be able to, ask them questions. Okay, why is this important? Well, the launch of his XAI, it does kind of contradict his recent statements about pausing AI development to avoid civilization destruction. Remember, he was the one about a month ago that was saying, we need to slow everything down. We need to stop. And a few of us were saying, that's a bunch of bullshit virtue signaling. He, along with all those other guys, are behind the 8 ball. They're worried they're losing ground financially to OpenAI and to an extent Microsoft, to a lesser extent Google, to a lesser extent some of the chip makers. Anyway, he felt like he was getting left behind. He originally was part of the founding group at OpenAI. He had a disagreement with them about reaching AGI, artificial general intelligence. He thought, our way is better, the Tesla way. And they were like, no, we're going to do it this way. Well, Tesla didn't get there, and OpenAI did. And then they had some robot disagreements, and their robot Optimus is not ready, and it walks at 1 mile a year. And these other robots do backflips and karate and shit, and they're awesome. And he's a little AI butthurt is what it seems like. Anyway, so all of that virtue signaling bullcrap as part of that big open letter, which, by the way, this open letter was like, you guys should stop because world, because future. Like, okay, what do you recommend that we do? Well, we don't make recommendations. It's just an open letter for the world to slow down. Bullshit. It's an open letter so that Elon and all the other a-holes, in this case, Elon's a smart guy, but in this case, he blew it. Many people blew it. Many companies are not OpenAI. Many chip makers are not NVIDIA. And it is what it is. Matter of fact, all those companies that aren't OpenAI, they also aren't Anthropic. Like, there's many companies that are way, way behind the ball. Not like a little bit, but like maybe an impossible chasm to cross. We'll see. But anyway, so that was all virtue signaling because like a month and a half later, he's launching his own company. So, okay. Let's see. Listen, I like the idea of more competition in the AI space. It's going to happen anyway. And soon it's going to be AI competing with AI. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. So, when I don't know, man. This stuff is going so fast. Anyway, it's just going very fast. So we'll see. I mean, by this time next week, the whole landscape could be different. All right. Anyway, do you know that there's companies in India? There's one for sure that actually got rid of their CEO and made GPT-4 their CEO. Yeah. For truth, my friends, for truth. Anyway, Google's new Notes app, it trains on your documents. You're like, what? What does that even mean? Anyway, so here's the basics. Google's AI-backed note-taking tool, previously known as Project Tailwind, has been rebranded to NotebookLM. Language model. Anyway, and it's launching to a select group of users in the US today. Now. So Google's trying to give their users their own personal AI trained on their own data and notes. Microsoft 360, you can already do this. You can basically interact. So imagine setting up a large language model with a big pool, big parameters for dexterity, and a lot of tokens, which is like words, right? So that big bag of stuff. Imagine that stuff is your stuff, your emails, your messaging, your whatever, your business, everything. And so they're trying to set it up where you can interact with that. Like you can talk with that document, like all that will be part of your own like language model, your own kind of, transformer based network, which is kind of cool if you think about it. And it trains on your data and your notes, your emails. Anyway, beginning in Google Docs, users can select multiple documents and ask questions or create new content through the app, similar to the way, like either with Anthropic or GPT, you can take PDFs, put them in the context window, and then converse with them, which is kind of badass. Anyway, features include automatic summarization of long documents, the conversion of video outlines into scripts, citations are integrated. So Google acknowledges, however, that the model might currently produce some incorrect results, hallucinations, things like that. It's in testing phase. That's what you do in testing phase. Anyway, NotebookLM is accessible through a wait list on Google Labs. So go to Google Labs and look up NotebookLM, and you can get on the wait list. So why should you care about this? Well, Google is pushing AI pretty hard. Obviously, Bard has not been so successful. Matter of fact, they've told their own employees not to use it. And if you ask Bard, it is, what's the better quality system? It will generally say that ChatGPT and GPT-4 is more robust. Anyway, but Google's pushing hard. I mean, now they have to compete with XAI. Anyway, the tool could potentially reshape the future of Google Drive. I mean, all of these systems, these data. Anyway, anytime you take data and manipulate it, that's going to change based on kind of some of the new AI tech and software. So this is similar to how search generative experience feature could potentially change Google search. And by the way, the SGE, the search generative experience, is a feature right now, but it may become the way Google search is done. So we'll see. Yeah, let me see. Okay. I was looking, so I get an email that tells me about tools, and sometimes they're cool, but it's all about speech right now. Like, take your voice, turn it into AI. Take your voice. Like, okay, we get it. Like, I can take my voice and I can, the best one that I've messed with right now is play.ht. Well, let me walk that back. It's the simplest one that I've messed with. If you want the best, highest quality one that I've messed with, I don't know about the others, it's resemble.ai. So those are the only ones that I've really messed with in the cloning, voicey kind of thing. Matter of fact, in the beginning of the show, when I do that little warning thing, that was done with play.ht. And you can just go on there and bang around for free. So anyway, cool. Okay. There's a GPT web app generator. So just look it up if you want to check this out. If you're trying to create a web app and you want to leverage GPT, like GPT 3.5, GPT 4, or even GPT 3, whatever. look up GPT web app generator, and it lets you develop full stack web apps in like, you click the button and you have an app. You click the button, you have an app. So that's kind of cool. And then of course you can check super tools. If you look for super tools, like if you can Google it or Bing it. I guess you have to say Bing now because Bing is actually more robust. But anyway, so there you go. Okay. And then we were just talking about Resemble AI. They just got more funding. So yay for AI. Okay, cool. We've kind of nailed that. All right, let's move on. We'll take a quick look at markets. Let's get into the Mashinsky fun, because it is fun. God, man, what a D-bag. But anyway, there we go. So let's take a look at markets. Woohoo! Bitcoin is right where it was yesterday. Well, okay, nothing extremely exciting about that. The whole market, this is what you look at market cap. The entire crypto space is just shy of 1.2 trillion. It's very tiny. My assumption is that we're going to go well past 3, somewhere between 5 and 9 and 10 trillion in this next expansionary phase, which I assume starts in about 209 days. Don't quote me on that, although it is actually written on the bottom of the screen. I guess you could quote me on that, but I don't think that's the exact date. I think in that window, statistically, over time, is a likely guess to when we think markets turn around. There's going to be a lot of hype. There's a lot of macro. Well, that's a digital heavyweights thing. We'll talk about the macro and all the little breadcrumbs. Anyway, I think things will be fine going into next year. And I'm not like one of those people that always just pushes off decision making and says, oh, next year. I'm not doing that. I'm not like a price forecaster person. I'm a multiple forecaster person. And it seems likely that we will be on the tail end of the recession, that we are currently deeply entrenched. We will be talking about the Bitcoin halving. We will have a BlackRock and probably a Fidelity spot ETF, and everybody that crapped all over crypto will be like singing his praises again, because they know they can skin Joe Sixpack for more of his money and put it in their back pocket and step on your neck in the middle of your sleep. Anyway, so I look at Bitcoin and I just go, okay, great. So it's down about a point. So everything else down about a point is kind of about the same. And so I look for outliers. Matic up a little bit, interesting overhaul in their executives. The CEO. So we'll see if that means anything. I don't think it means much because I don't think that changes. Unless you're doing a full overhaul and bringing in a lot of people. I don't know in the crypto space. Although, listen, a hire or a fire here. This is both. It can make a difference. Like one person can make a difference. It's unlikely. I thought it was interesting. I guess it's a kind of an olive branch. Charles Hoskinson. It's not just me. Many of us in the space, kind of looking like game theorists, theorize that there needs to be some mergers, some condensation. Like you need to take a lot of these projects and glom them together and make molecules. Because all of these projects can't make it, especially layer ones, just to reduce, decision making and kind of streamline. And basically, Charles told the people at Algorand, "Hey, why don't you just become a side chain of Cardano?" And some people were like, "That's dickish." No, it's not. Algorand is failing. You can say what you want at this point. Listen, I own a lot of it. Many commas, many of Algorand. Doesn't matter if the team's not getting it done. Now we're in the throes of a contraction market, so you can't be like, oh no, it's over, and you're just saying that because the price is low. I'm not saying it because price low. I'm saying it because they don't communicate and they don't feel like they need to. They need a shakeup. And also, I don't think the world is any worse. As a matter of fact, I think it's a lot better if you had Cardano and Algorand and Cosmos. If you could just glom these things together and make one place where transactions happen and then they just get routed in the appropriate direction based on the dexterity of the data, right? So like, it just seems painfully effing obvious. Like all these guys wearing orange, like it was obvious. But anyway, so I think that's got to happen. Charles made the statement. We'll see what they say. I mean, Algorand is not performing. And there's a certain point where you have to start wondering if they will ever perform. Now, again, doesn't mean it's not a trade, doesn't mean it won't go up and expand, price wise, but does it start to fall off of becoming an investment? It starts to fall off of becoming an investment. Listen, one of my buddies has hundreds of millions of tokens of Algorand, and he didn't buy them at 10 cents. He bought them at 50. I think he bought them at 53 cents, but might have been a little higher. Anyway, my point is, a lot of people are getting gutted in this thing. And if they're not willing to make the changes that are necessary, they're probably also not willing to, Silvio, I don't know. I can't rate that guy on arrogance. So I don't know what that team is like, but from what I've seen, they are extremely arrogant. And this may be a case where the technology is amazing and the team has turned rich and arrogant. But that market cap, let's call it what it is. It's dog shit. You have that team over there. Go read that white paper and look at that team. And then a less than $1 billion market cap. That is piss poor performance, bro. So I'm definitely considering. I'm not putting new money in Algorand. How about that? Me, you do you, but I'm not putting more money into Algorand if they're not willing to make some changes and shake things up. Now, if they became a side chain of Cardano, this thing probably bangs up to 50 cents just because. So I don't know. It depends who they're trying to appease. I just don't know anymore. Render, no. What's interesting? Well, the AI coins all got a boost because of Elon saying, I'm coming. And then I don't know why that made the AI tokens go up. It's like, yes, it's real now. Well, what do you mean? It's always been real, but whatever. Even Fetch, even old auto-based Fetch is up 6.5%. Good for them. Singularity DAO. Well, part of that is that people need to take Singularity DAO, park it to get Sophiaverse. Well, I think KYC is almost done with that, but you got to park some tokens in order to be in the tier structure to get the whatever. You guys get that. If you're non-U.S. residents, you can participate. If you are U.S. residents, got to wait till July 25th and swap into it on the open market. Make sure you familiarize yourself with DEX tools so that you can understand what kind of liquidity situation you're looking at on day one. I think Singularity DAO is the launch pad, but I think that for people that just want to swap into the asset, I think there's going to be a listing on KuCoin. However, that also may be no longer available for U.S. residents as of like 2 days from now. So we'll see. Rejuve, not interesting to me, but good. They need to explain to the world why they need a token. NewNet is interesting to me. We're going to talk NewNet here at Brainiac time in just a second. First, we're going to look at Alex. And Hypercycle, almost 51 cents. I mean, if you guys could see under the skirt of what they're doing, I think you would be quite impressed. There's a lot going on over there. However, I own a lot of tokens, so you should not listen to a word I say with anything more than a fleeting grain of salt, because I am deeply invested and clearly biased. So note what Nick says may or may not be biased by the fact that he has a shitload of those coins. Okay, keep that in mind. That should be your little asterisk whenever I talk about Hypercycle. All right, let's get into some Alex. And this is so good. It's just so good. But on this one, we probably have to do our news thing. We need like our news, like our legit news clip for Alex. Let's see if we can get it. Woohoo! This is so good. He's such a piece of crap. That whole team is just a piece of crap. Yeah, Hypercycle has been on fire. Okay. Yes, you do need 1,024 tokens to participate. That is a node. That is one node. Yes. And real quick, what possible situation would need to happen to encourage them to consolidate? That's something that their community, I mean, they're kind of run by a DAO-ish. I mean, those DAOs are all sketchy, but I don't know, man. I don't think they'll do it because I don't think that they want to admit that they were ineffectual. I'm not going to say incompetent because Algorand works really well. The tech is badass. They need someone who understands business. Yeah, Charles Hoskinson. Anyway, let's talk about someone who doesn't understand business, or at least only understands about sketchy business. Celsius sues. So, okay, here's how it starts. God. Celsius Network sues Alameda. You're like, Alameda, isn't that Sam Bankman-Fried's scammy organization that stole money from depositors and gambled it? Yes, that one. So anyway, Celsius Network, what's left of it, is suing Alameda Research and Stakehound amid an alleged market manipulation. Right, because the token would have been fine if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Anyway, bankrupt crypto lending company Celsius Network has filed a $2 billion lawsuit against FTX investment branch Alameda Research, which doesn't exist. Anyway, the lawsuit alleges market manipulation practices in 2022, leading to significant impacts on the Cell token. Get that truck out of here. Anyway, in addition to Alameda Research, Celsius Network has also fired off a lawsuit against Stakehound for not returning approximately $150 million worth of tokens. Bankrupt lender is filing these lawsuits against both FTX, their investment branch Alameda, alleging market manipulation, leading to significant impacts on Cell token's price. Other than the fact that the token was propped up by bullshit and lies. They always leave that part out. Like, but Celsius, didn't you guys lie to everyone? Yes. Wasn't everything you were doing bullshit? Yes. Weren't you making a bunch of gambles on crappy companies and like giving money to people you met on Twitter that you didn't even know their names? Yes. Billions? Yes. Okay, but this has nothing to do with that. No. This is because they manipulated some stuff or whatever. Oh, shut up. Anyway, okay, so there's their lawsuit. Good. All right, that's okay. So they file a lawsuit. Great. And what happens? Well, unrelated, of course, the SEC sues bankrupt crypto lender Celsius Network and CEO Alex. I have 200 millions of my own monies on the platform. Why would I cheat? Mashinsky, with 4 counts of fraud and 1 count of offering unregistered securities. Hashtag no shit. The SEC suing bankrupt crypto lender Celsius Network and the firm's CEO douchebag Mashinsky for 4 counts of fraud, 1 count of securities violations per a court filing on Thursday. Before going under last summer, the platform offered users high interest rates for depositing their idle crypto via its earn interest program. The program was touted as a safe investment with high returns. Not by everyone. No. Oh, yeah. They were promising 10.8%, which it was obvious bullshit. Like, oh, God, no one can promise you 10% of nothing. Like, where does it come from? We get it. From where? The ether. We get it from the ether. It's so bullshitty. And think of all the people that got fleeced on this. Think of all the absolute effing idiots that not only gave them their money, but invested. Oh my God. It makes you want to listen. If your gurus were out there pumping this, put them on the ban list, bro. Cancel them. Get them off your freaking Twitter feed, whatever it takes. You know, it's the usual suspects. Real Vision, Rao Pal, most of the douchebags, at least in this one, not Binance, Novogratz, all the same usual suspects that also invested in Three Arrows, that also invested in Luna, that are all, I mean, it's the same dumbasses every time. Like, come on, man. You guys got to protect yourself a little bit. Anyway, The SEC alleges that Celsius and Mashinsky misrepresented Celsius' central business model and the risks to investors by claiming that Celsius did not make uncollateralized loans. Yeah, we got into that on Clubhouse, and they lied about it. And then we determined that they, in fact, did. The company did not engage in risky trading, which we know they did because they just gave their money to anyone, even a dude on Twitter. Like a dude. They gave hundreds of millions of dollars to a dude on Twitter. You got to read about it. It's like, it's so bad, it's mind-boggling bad. They invested in Badger DAO. You remember Badger DAO? That bullshit that the people at Badger couldn't even explain what it was. Like no one knew how to explain it, not even the company. Surprise, surprise, that went down. Like, come on, man. The company, they say the company claimed they did not engage in risky trading, and the interest paid to investors represented 80% of the company's revenue. I mean, it represented 80% of something, probably 80% of investor deposits. Anyway, the commission alleges that these claims, that the claims made by Celsius and Mashinsky were false and that information was hidden from investors. Yeah, no shit. Before Celsius officially filed for bankruptcy. This is the funny part. They just filed for bankruptcy, and Alex is like, well, at least I'm still rich. No. You don't get to pilfer money and steal and then just like walk away like, well, I declared bankruptcy, I'm free. No, Alex, no. The SEC is demanding that Mashinsky be prohibited. Well, this is right before the next article. The SEC is demanding that Mashinsky be prohibited from buying, offering, or selling cryptocurrencies, to be disgorged of all ill-gotten gains, which is his entire fortune, in the form of any benefits of any kind derived from the illegal conduct alleged in the complaint, and for the former CEO to pay civil penalties to be determined by the court. This is the civil side of it. This is the civil part. This is the easy part. The CFTC is also mulling action against Mashinsky, alleging he misled investors and should have registered with the regulator, a source said at the beginning of the month. Elsewhere, the New York Attorney General's office alleged that he misrepresented and concealed the firm's financial condition, among other allegations in his lawsuit from January. Neither Celsius nor Mashinsky responded immediately to Decrypt's request for comment. Well, we know why. We know why he did not respond. Because he is in jail. But again, I didn't see him get arrested, but man, it couldn't have happened to a better person. So hopefully we get to see him in handcuffs. But the U.S. SEC alleges that Mashinsky and Celsius manipulated Cell's token value, and as such, he has been formally arrested. Say what? And why did it do that? Give me a second. My screen put an advertisement up there. Co-founder and former CEO of bankrupt crypto lender Celsius was arrested during the early hours of today, according to a July 13th Bloomberg report. Bloomberg's usually right about executives getting arrested, citing people familiar with the matter. Like what? People on the street? Like, yeah, this Russian guy was saying he had 200 millions of his own something. Then they slapped the cuffs on, beat his ass. Anyway, the U.S. SEC commissioner also filed securities fraud charges against Mashinsky and Celsius in July 13th court filings. Defendants falsely promised, this is in the filing, defendants falsely promised investors a safe investment with high returns through its earned interest program. They misled investors, blah, 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 blah. They're all full of crap. Okay, cool. Earlier in the month, reports emerged that investigators within the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, found that the Celsius network violated several U.S. regulations before its bankruptcy. The report suggested legal proceedings could commence against Celsius and Mashinsky this month. I guess what they meant was tonight when we arrest him and book his ass. Oh, it's so good. I know you're not supposed to revel in people's misery, and I don't wish jail. No, that's not true. I do wish jail. If you're an asshole and you steal from people, F you, bro. Go to jail. Go F yourself. And good luck. Do Kwon, good luck, buddy. Good luck in there. Sam, they're going to make your back end into a playground, buddy. Although Sam's going to snitch everybody he possibly can. He's going to go to some old soft ass camp or something like that. Although I don't know. If they give him a lot of time, maybe not. He might not be in a Martha Stewart type situation. Wouldn't it be great if they screwed up? Like if, anyway. Point is, people that steal from other people for a living need to have their asses handed to them every single day for the rest of their life. These people these people cost a lot of people a lot of, like, I know you're not supposed to put your life savings and stuff, but like a lot of people stupidly invested their life savings, all gone, like all gone. People's retirements that are maybe not the age where they can just start over and earn it all back, all gone. Like these guys are deserving of whatever they get. They're deserving of it. Anyway, so we'll see. Since the situation has started, the bankrupt firm has attempted to recoup funds and stabilize its financial situation. They still, like the dudes that took over this douchebaggery, they want to, like, we're going to keep going. No, you're not. No one's giving you not a stolen nickel, you dumbasses. Anyway, the lender filed a lawsuit against Stakehound, as we just talked about, and which has been authorized by the court. Stakehound has been authorized by the courts to convert its altcoin holdings, all the other altcoins, to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Luckily, they don't own that much, and there you go. And no, he's not going to be pardoned. Matter of fact, campaign finance violations is part of his indictment. So there's a whole handful of indictments that they're waiting because the extradition treaty, not Alex, we're talking about Sam Bankman, bank fraud, fried chicken. He will face these other charges after the sentencing and all of that stuff has happened for this first. So the way it works is he got extradited. Part of the extradition treaty was you're being extradited for these charges. So they can't stack on all these other charges until that has been fully adjudicated. And that could take years. So after all of that adjudication occurs, then they have a bunch, like 13 or 14 campaign fraud charges that are still coming. So I get I get I see where you're coming from on this one. He's going to do time. This is not one he'll sidestep. Anyway, cool. So that's all for the douchebags I've got. That's all the douchebag news. There was a little article about crypto tokens rallying after Musk. I guess cool, like whatever, right? Like the world's going AI, so that's cool. Okay, let's do this. Let me close those tabs. Okay, cool. Let's switch something really quick. Let's go and talk about some brain food, some math. So forget about the Alexes and the Sams and the douchebags and Aubrey. Nope, you're thinking about. I think you're thinking about fake news. They weren't ruling on whether XRP is a security, so that can't be the answer. There maybe something happened, but that's not what happened. That's not one of. Again, not to get into like how federal law works, but it's one case, one controversy, and it wasn't whether XRP is a security. It was whether XRP was sold as a security, and it's whether, which they probably won't answer because they don't want to set precedent. It was whether second market sales constitute the ongoing sale of an unlicensed security or not. So anyway, I would be very careful about jumping into the news. There is probably a settlement or a decision coming soon, but there's nothing for XRP to win. There's degrees of losing. They've already lost. For 3 years, they've been delisted from exchanges, and nothing. The token hasn't been able to flourish, and the company doesn't even use the token. So XRP's already lost. All the XRP investors have already lost. They missed 2 bull markets, so they've lost already. There's just, in the case of Ripple, there's just degrees of losing. Maybe the hemorrhaging stops. Maybe not. The other thing is, if all that the judge does is determine that they're currently not being sold as a security, but they were sold as a security, or they don't rule on the second question in that one case, one controversy situation, like are secondary market sales considered securities, then they're not going to be massive relistings. There's not going to be relistings. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So let's get our heads away from this, and let's just talk about a little bit of exiting and what that would look like. we have some kind of exit math. And here's what will look like. New net exits. This is really quick, just so you understand why we say kind of the 10x, take 20, 2x, take 10 rule. And for those of you that don't know what that rule is, let me, in fact, find it. It's just a rule that I stick to. Now, you guys can do whatever you want, but I stick to this rule. Whenever an asset hits a 10x, I take 20% off the table. Period, full stop. Take it in the stable coin. I'm not messing with it. So when any asset in this case, new net, but N didn't stand for new net, but when any asset in reaches a 10x, which is 1,000% increase in your DCA price, remember your aggregate, your dollar cost average price, not like the first time you bought, you immediately sell 20% of your total allocation of this asset. This ensures 100% return on investment. Why? Well, it's a 10x. You took 2x, which means you took the one off the table and the one that you originally invested. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, so every time it does a 2x from then on, right? So if it goes from $1 to $10 and it goes from $10 to $20, you would sell again. You would take 10% and 10% and 10%. And what that does is guarantees continual return, and it means you'll never run out of the token. So if the token has some value, you'll never run out of it. Okay, cool. All right, so here's what that looks like. If you had 100,000 tokens, remember NewNet was down below a penny. So you like move the two decimals. You're like, okay, that would have been $1,000 investment. And again, I'm not telling anybody to do this or don't do this or whatever. I am saying this, the digital heavyweights, a big pile of them took profit on this exact thing when it hit 10 cents several months ago. So this happened. So your cost basis is 1 penny. You have 100,000 tokens. It gets to 10 cents. You would sell 20,000 tokens, move the, so you get that, right? And so you move the decimal, it's 10 cents. You made $2,000. Yay. If it gets to 20 cents, now we're thinking in the future, you have 80,000 left. Why? Because you sold 20,000. You sold 20%. So you have 80,000 tokens left. It gets to 20 cents. You would sell 10% because it doubled, right? Which is $1,600. Leaving you with 72,000 tokens. It gets to 40. You see where this goes. Every time it doubles, you sell 10%. It doubled. You sell 10%. It doubles. So your $1,000 investment has yielded you, so basically 17,000. This was 26,000, 31,000, 33,000, 34,000. So your $1,000 investment has given you about a 35x. And you still have more than, you still have 52% of your tokens, 50% of your tokens, a little bit less. You still have almost half the tokens you started with. And on $1,000 investment, you put 35 or more $1,000 in your back pocket. You did 35x. If you 35x your portfolio, I mean, that would be great. But if you 35x an asset here or there, pretty soon you're talking about real money. Anyway, keep these things in your mind simple. Keep things in your mind simple. Yeah, you got to have exits. Too many people are in this space and there's just no one takes exits. People need to take exits. Anyway, so I hope. And good, I'm glad XRP is up. 1, I own some. 2, the XRP community deserves a little bit of a win. Thing is, it was like 80 cents or something like that before the lawsuit. So until it gets to like 80 cents, everybody's still underwater, not to mention the opportunity cost of sitting there for 2 years. I hope they make something out of it. We'll see. Listen, I like it when people win. So if people are winning in the crypto space, that is great. But remember, find some ways to take some money to the sidelines, take your exits, have some kind of system in place. Otherwise, you're always going to be watching your currency units go up and go down, and it just becomes fictional. If you don't use these things to make your life better, what is the damn point in any of this? Anyway, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk, strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do. If you want to kind of keep up with us, go to nickblacknext.com. And we do, like I said, we do little technical things sometimes that are not directly like price related, but like using DEX tools and like looking at like liquidity pools and things like that. Stuff that's not super interesting maybe for most people, but like if you want to get, a deeper kind of understanding of the techno babble. Anyway, so yeah, check us out there. Otherwise, just go slow on everything and assume that everyone is trying to steal all of your stuff all of the time. If you just assume that, hopefully you'll be less surprised. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.